Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the official final round. We have the long-standing Table 1 lover, Braden, taking on Shannon Cole, who brought to the table Kid. Bit of a green matchup here, Ryan. Going to be interesting to see who takes this out. And we won't have to wait too much longer. They're just getting their decks ready now. Going to be able
both
to,
players just counting that they've got 50 cards in deck.
as you do. You need to make sure.
Law versus Kid. Kid is a deck that we haven't seen throughout all of today. Obviously took down the Brisbane regional, but has kind of snuck through the ranks and found his place in the final round.
Yep, that would be twice now.
Looks like he's rolled a 5. And we know that Law runs a lot of blockers, which can mitigate the double attack that comes alongside the Kid leader. Kid obviously has a lot of ways to rest some of the Law's low-cost blockers, but doesn't have as much kind of inbuilt removal as what Red does. So it'll be interesting to see how Kid can control the board and how quickly Law can establish it.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, we've seen the power of Law multiple times. We haven't actually seen Kid all day manage to sneak it into the winning game. The final round, obviously, both players currently 7-0 playing for that elusive mat, guaranteeing themselves that they're going to get, the top 8 prizing, which is a Serial Luffy, the Zoro alt art, the Usopp alt art, the Chopper alt art. Just insane feat for both of these players. And yeah, I mean, we've kind of taken this journey, it feels like it, with Braden the whole time, and let's see how it ends up playing out as they get into it. Braden opting not to keep his hand, going for the mulligan. It's getting crazy over here already. We're mulliganing.
And he's mulliganed a lot, hasn't he?
He has actually mulliganed a lot. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, you really want to see that, obviously, one cost Nami or even the Bonnie to kind of get you kick-started. And I wonder if this Law list is as crazy as the one that won the Brisbane regionals. That had no...
The Kid list?
No, the Kid, yeah. That had no OP2 cards in it. That would be another amazing feat here, but we're about to find out. There's no more needing to speculate. Yeah, let's jump in, and Braden's going first. He looks at his hand.
We've seen Nami whiffs. We've seen. Oh,
wait.
It looks like.
Just the way that his life is going to be placed. Okay. I was going to say, what's happening? He's got something. It looks like. Yep. Okay. Just one for beige. Sure, better than nothing, honestly. You're going to be playing that later on anyway. I don't know if green really has ways. It can rest it, of course, and then able to remove it later. What the?
Yeah. This is the film. I reckon this is going to be the film version of Kid. Wow. And there's been a lot of speculation about this kind of recently, about the film package, including like the 7-cost Luffy and things like that, being quite powerful within this deck.
Oh my, interesting. And it's made it here, so obviously, like, hats off, credit to Shannon, because it's obviously proven.
Yeah. I have seen a lot of talk about this list over maybe like the last day or two. It'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see how good it is. I haven't seen it get played or anything. I've just seen people talking about it.
Yeah. And now Braden's setting up that perfect, turn 2, being able to play out the Nami, the beige, the Dan, replenishing his hand. He hasn't missed yet. That's
Just
not
saying,
lost.
just give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Just let me double
it's not.
check.
I'm just making sure I grab the right card here, and it's Rush Zorro.
Nice.
It's Rush Zorro. We all know. Great turn. Going to be very interesting to see now where this ends up going. And yeah, look, Law being able to do what he needs to do. Here we go. Ezo coming out for 3, being
Yep.
able to rest the beige, and now you just swing into it with Chopper.
Yeah, and Chopper's got an effect on it as well. I believe it can rest a 2 or less on attack with the Don.
Really good in this format against red, right? Yeah, and there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Swings into
And
the
then
beige, gets rid of it.
Kid will be able to clear it up.
Wow. Okay. This might be a little bit longer than some of the other games. Of course, you got green that's trying to control um, the board state, obviously, and being able to naturally do so. And he's just gone for the Nami swing into the chopper. If you want to use a card, get rid of it. But yeah, he obviously opts not to. And
We're just going to see a little back and forth of the weenies here.
yep.
Obviously, Nami clears Chopper, Izo clears Nami. Like,
Yeah. And is he gonna tap 3 and play the Rush Zorro? The man loves doing this. Goes for the leader swing first.
okay, check. 2K counter coming out for that one. And then a Vista to clear up the Izo. Wow.
Yeah.
Two 1-drops. Yeah, double Chopper. A whole lot of red on Law's field. Previously, we've seen just stacks of green, and he's kind of struggled to find the red.
Yeah.
But not this time.
Well, we all probably anticipate that the Nami's no longer for this world. But it depends if he's got some green cards in his hand that he wants to play next turn to kind of split up this red field that he's started to establish. So man's running on sugar-free drinks.
It's a wonder he's still awake.
It's been a long day. I think you need sugar, mate. You don't need to cut that out unless he's got lollies on the other side we can't see. But wow,
Opts to use the blocker here. Yeah, he's wanted to keep that Nami alive. Izo coming down again.
Resting the other blocker.
He's going to do his leader effect. Restand, get another attack in.
And then swing into the chopper.
Yeah. You might have earned yourself a top 16 chopper, but you're not going to be keeping that one around.
So we actually used to see this a little bit back in the day as well, Ryan, when people were obviously playing a lot of Kid. They use their effects so early to just make sure that they, one, either put more pressure onto the leader while their hand size isn't that big, or two, control the board instead of waiting to go for the end game of like swinging with, 7, untapping, swinging again. So choosing to do this early and getting rid of the blocker presence. And the reason why he does it, obviously, is because Law's objective is to have 5 bodies on the board, and now 2 choppers in the bin, a curly in the bin, and he's only got 2 battle cards on the field now. Hand size isn't too crazy.
Too red hot, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Kid has utilized 2K counters.
Yeah.
Plus the chopper, which was a 2K counter, onto the field just to try and rest cards and remove them.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on whether Kid can continue to keep this board clear, or can Law continue to find little 1-cost characters. And then I'm sure we're going to see a 7-drop Luffy come down at some point, which just starts this chain of playing film cards one after another if you're able to hit all the pieces. Luffy plays one, which plays another, which plays another.
Yeah. And now Brayden's starting to put the pressure onto Kid. Really, I guess, not having too much to really play, and you see it there. He's got the Vista. He plays it at the very end to make sure that there's no triggers that kind of come out. He might rest it. And then being able to really just put Kid onto 2 life this early, and Brayden's still sitting on 4, but it does mean that Kid does have the hand advantage now going into this turn. So gonna be interesting to see. And there you go. Like you said, Ryan.
7-drop Law to play the 6K skill Zoro. 7-drop Luffy.
Yeah. And now,
Still a pretty strong turn, but
absolutely.
it does give Law a bit of breathing room. Obviously, both of his all of his characters were able to live through that turn, and it looks like
He's
uh,
just trying to fix up the
Law's
Don.
he's looking for his Don. He might.
Someone looks like they've missed a.
He doesn't know where he's put it. Maybe he's dropped it.
Well, it has to be, right? It looks like. Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
there it is.
Yeah. And it's just Don. It's just showing that
Yeah,
obviously he
he's just
hasn't picked
showing
up
this. Hasn't
anything.
picked up any cards. It's
Yep.
all pretty clear.
Yep. Hands on the
Doing it
tables.
as best as he can. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you're going for it as well, it's just Don at the end of the day. So not really anything that you can kind of. I mean, if it was a card from the deck, then it would be a little bit worrying. But the fact that it's just a Don that dropped down, you've been playing this for the past 7 hours or so.
Yeah, and did as best as he can to make sure that it's clear to everyone that
Absolutely.
no
Such a high
nothing.
profile game, right? Like there is a lot on the line, of course.
Yeah,
So
and
he's
so
just
much
making
kind of
sure.
stipulation around cheating online and things
Yeah,
like that in this
exactly.
tournaments
Exactly.
recently as well.
If you can avoid it, you avoid it.
Of course. Yep. We see that Usopp counted out of that 5k swing. Interesting that these kid decks have kind of opted for this film package as opposed to like the 7-drop kid
Yeah, starter deck.
from the starter deck. Yeah,
Yeah.
both of them being a 7-drop, 7k. One of them obviously has the opportunity to attack and restand, and the other
Mm.
just starts this chain of playing characters out onto the field. So both of them really valuable in their own right. But yeah, it's interesting to see how these starter decks have just adapted into the new cards and the new meta.
It's good to see. Like, that package was kind of like non existent, not even touched.
Mm.
No one really cared for it. I'd say for like what, the past like 2 months that we've had OP2. And now to
Yeah,
see
we
it
had
in
a
a
couple of guys
finals.
use it at locals.
Well, to like, we've been streaming so many events and we've seen so many decks come out now. I think this is the first time I've actually seen it, even at this level, of course. But
Yeah.
it's just amazing to really like and see it in the finals too. Like to bring it in, go 7-0, feel like that's kind of like the missing piece to like where green starts to slip back in through the cracks of red. And to take it this far is just an amazing feat in itself. Like people are still finding ways to bring in new and old decks, to the light, and show us the power of it as well. That it's not set in stone. That there's still some earth uncovered, some different decks to play around, and it's always what gets it so exciting that we're not just going to see the same thing over and over again. I mean, even Law, such a strong deck in set one, of course. Now bringing it into set two, we still do see Law here and there, but just really putting a mark on it now. And as you see here, starting to build up the board. There's 4 red cards,
Hmm.
which is not the space that you really want to be in here if you're Braden, but we've seen him get out of this multiple times. And yeah, being able to play that Rush Sorrow now, he's just trying to think of, obviously, is he going to go for this, leader ability? Is he going to start swinging with the Zorro and try to put pressure onto his opponent? Still has 6 Don available. Here we go. Goes for the 7. Knows his opponent's got about 4 cards in hand.
Hmm. And
The
Law
block.
has no blockers available to him at the moment, so
Yeah.
something to be mindful of. You'd much rather have a board of red cards as opposed to a board of green cards.
Absolutely.
Obviously, just being able to bounce back the red card to play the SR Law,
Mm-hmm.
which can then bounce back another to play a 3 cost or less.
And he looks like he's
But we
trying
do
to.
see that block get utilized.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? You get the 7k 7 cost blocker that allows you to play the vanilla Zorro. That's a 6k swing and a body on the board, which is really amazing why the package, obviously comes together.
Hmm. Looks like he's thinking about the Markino, yeah, to get another attack in with the Nami,
Yeah.
just as a 5k. Going to make it 6k swing.
Into lead, has to get rid of a 2k if he doesn't want to take the hit. And then he leaves the last 2 Don up for what we assume is going to be the bounce.
This is a very dangerous attack here if it goes through.
Even if it doesn't go through and he uses a 2K from hand or two 1Ks.
Two 1Ks would be ridiculous here. Like,
Yeah. Any combination, like the only good
oh,
combination is a
okay, yeah,
2K. Yeah,
yeah, and
like
it does have it. Gets the EZO. We'll see the bounce. Most likely the Markino. Oh, Basil.
ooh.
Jesus.
I think this. I'm not sure because we have seen Braden play a bit, but based on the previous games and like the cards that he's had in hand and what he's shown off, this might be a one of.
I believe it is. Yeah, and it is very powerful into the green mirror, or green kind of
Yep.
decks.
Yep.
Once that blocker gets triggered, then Basil can really comfortably clean up a lot of the board, especially if he swings with this Skillless Zorro.
Yeah.
Only 3 cards in hand for Kid. You know, that leader effect is always online. There is still no blockers available.
Hmm. 3 cards in each hand. Mapping out his Don now, trying to figure out obviously what his style of play is going to be here. Does he go for the discard one, swing again? Probably going to try and start clearing up the board now. If you're Shannon, you just want to make sure you never want to leave Law 5 cards on field going into their turn.
Yeah.
Make them exhaust cards in their hand to bring themselves back to 5. And you also don't want to leave the Rush Zorro there, to be quite honest, anyway. And you know that he's got Makino in hand. Even though Nami is a 1 cost and it's done its job, he can still play the Makino next turn if you do get rid of something else that's not the Nami. And all of a sudden, it's a free 5K swing for 1 Don.
Yeah, and pushes that 5 character forward.
Exactly. So
doesn't have a 1 cost character on the field outside of Nami. So if Nami does go, then he won't be able to attack with anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is 4 attacks available on Kid's field. Obviously, you need 4 attacks to connect to win.
Yeah.
So it probably just isn't enough there to be able to really. You're going to give your opponent 3 cards in hand. As long as they get out of 1 attack, they're safe. So don't think that's the right play here.
I don't think that's an option for him at all because, again, then you leave your opponent with 5 bodies on the board. You've got 2 life. You've tapped yourself out virtually. Trying to kind of push for this like no life game like state, and you still leave yourself with 3 cards in hand. I don't think it's the right play at all, and I don't think he's going to go down that route.
No, it's more likely to try and establish some more blockers here, and try and clean up more likely that Zorro.
I think the situation that Shannon is maybe in here, he might just go for the put 2 or 3 Don on the leader, swing at the Rush Zorro, untap it to get another swing and go into the Nami, and just leave both of your battle cards or your characters in active mode, making sure that the Basil doesn't get its full effect off.
I think you do need to deal some damage.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think at this point you need to deal some damage with such low cards in hand and the board that Law has. If he can get through the next turn with 3 life still, then you're still not really at any kind of danger of dying if you can establish Law blockers and things like that. He needs to push him down a little bit more this turn. And if Basil Hawkins clears up this 6K Skillless and he's able to get an attack in and deal damage, then you're almost comfortable with that. So at least one of these attacks has to go through either the leader or the Skillless. But we'll probably see the Zorro try and get removed first, I would imagine. $5K attack is just into the Zorro.
I think, like I said, I think he has to. And then if he does untap for 3, but it does obviously end up getting rid of a card from hand to do this. But Armor comes out.
Counter comes out.
Yeah. I mean, the only problem is now that 2K. Was that the Zorro swing or was that the leader swing that he just did?
That was the leader swing, yeah. Okay.
So he had to use a 2K to get out of it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Pays 3.
Like I said.
Another 5K gets the Zorro.
He has to.
And then pays 7 for another Luffy.
Wow.
2 7K blockers. It looks like he doesn't have anything to play off of it.
No.
But now the following turn is looking pretty dangerous with two 7k attacks, followed by your what could be two 12k attacks on leader, and very little cards in hand for Law after all of that countering.
Do you just put like 5 onto Basil, swing into the Zorro, and then, like you guarantee. Actually, you don't even need to put 5. You just put like 3.
Yeah.
Swing in with Basil. And then if he blocks with the Luffy, it's going to untap anyway, but you're a free swing in here. And yeah, exactly. He's grabbing 3, and I would assume that's exactly the play that he wants to do.
Yeah, and what that does is it guarantees that if he does block with the Luffy, there is no combination that can revive it. You could go for a little bit of a riskier play here, yeah, and just swing with the 7. And now what that means is that you're either going to lose your hand or you're going to lose the character or your blocker regardless.
Yep. And now it
Yeah,
really depends on
depending
what Brayden's got in his hand. He's got, what, 2 cards left? Possibly 3?
Yeah, he needs some kind of searcher, I think, to be able to build up his hand again, unless he feels like he can really put a lot of pressure on Kid this turn to kind of force these blocks. Obviously, he's got so much life available to him that, he's a couple of blockers away out of being a bit safe, really. Like to not have to worry about being just one-shotted from 3 life to 0.
And now it looks like he might. Is it another Rush Zorro? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, yep.
If he can bait out a block here for 5, which he probably will,
then
he's going to start.
Swing.
Yeah. Going to start bouncing. Oh, wow.
Yeah. You don't want to block and then have a 9k swing go into one of these Luffy's. Oh, this one's dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the fact that he actually has done that now, and, if you block here, you still got to combo out because you're not taking a 7k swing. You're not putting yourself down to 0. Not at this point in the game.
A starter deck Law will be pretty dangerous.
Man, this is very
dangerous.
It is
a 2 cost and gives you another way to restand these cards for another attack. You either block, lose your whole hand, or take this life. And if you take this life and a Rush Luffy comes down, you have to block. I feel like you have to block.
I kind of agree here. I mean, you can't. Okay, so
alive.
I mean, 1 card in hand.
I think now you pivot into that Luffy on the field.
Well, it depends on what Brayden has in hand to use the leader effect on. If he doesn't have anything that he can do. Oh, yes. Well, here's the thing, right? If he goes 2 Don onto Vista, 2 Don onto the other Vista, swings twice for 5, one of those are going through.
Unless there's a counter in hand.
If there's a counter in hand, even better for himself.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go. Now he doesn't have to put the other 2 on Vista, though.
Yeah.
But he wants
to. He's still going to. Because he knows that it's so difficult for him to die the next turn with the cards that he has in hand.
And now goes 7 with lead. He's going to be able to get rid of the Luffy, or depending on what card.
This could be a 5k swing into lead. If he has no counter, he'll win.
He's got blocker on Luffy.
Yeah, but if he uses his leader effect to bounce or restand something that can attack, like a Zorro.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So sure. Let's say he does that and he bounces the Zorro, then he'll still get blocked from Luffy on the next one.
Yeah, but if this card in hand has no counter power, he has to block this. Now you bounce.
Oh no.
You bounce. You play a Law if you've got it. Oh, he restand. Yeah. If he's got. I don't think he's got the.
He can't do it. He can't do it. That's 7.
Yeah. He's got it.
Oh no way. Wait, why didn't he combo?
Why didn't he counter out?
Yeah. If he counters out that first swing, knowing that leader hasn't activated his ability yet, he wins that game. Well, not win, sorry, but he gets straight to the next turn.
He gets the best chance that he has. That was just a 5k leader swing that he opted to block instead of counter out.
Damn, man. I mean, hats off to Shannon, obviously bringing it all the way up here, and that this is the style of play that we're getting at. The one build that it obviously goes to just ends up costing you the game, man. Like, that is, the pressure of obviously first and getting everything there, guys. We're obviously going to bring it back to us because we don't want to show the deck list if these players are going to now be doing deck checks, and there probably will be profiles of these decks coming in the next couple of days and so on and so forth. So we'll just bring it back here. But that is it for the final round, round number 8 of this Treasure Cup down here in Oceania. Braden taking it down with Law against Kid.
What was that? Four games in a row that we saw Braden basically take it